Welcome to the Industrial Talk Podcast with Scott Mackenzie. Scott is a passionate industry professional dedicated to transferring cutting-edge, industry-focused innovations and trends while highlighting the men and women who keep the world moving. So put on your hard hat, grab your work boots, and let's go.
All right, once again, welcome to Industrial Talk. Thank you very much for joining the #1 industrial-related podcast in the world that celebrates industry professionals all around the world. You're bold, you're brave, you dare greatly, you innovate, you collaborate. You are solving problems each and every day. That's why we celebrate you, because you're making the world a better place. Take that to the bank. We are broadcasting on site Xcelerate 2025 here in Austin, Texas, brought to you by those wonderful people, Fluke Reliability. Go out to Fluke Reliability, find out more. You want them in your court. You want them a part of your team. And if you're an asset management maintenance professional, reliability guy, they're the ones you need to connect with. All right, in the seat. He's been in the seat before. He's been talking like nonstop at this event. Michael DeMaria, and we're going to be talking about some of the things that he was talking about at this event. Let's get cracking.
Let's do this.
Yeah, let's do it. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
Was it good?
Are
you exhausted? Because you were always up on stage. You're always Mr. Center of Attention.
Yeah, but there's so much energy at this event.
There is.
I'll be tired next week.
Yeah, but it's such a great opportunity to collaborate people, and it's like everybody's an open book. I got a problem. Check it out.
That's the best thing about this event is the collaboration.
Yeah.
I think one of the big things that it resonated. We heard this a couple times on the stage is how we're all learning from each other. We're all in this together. Everybody has the same types of issues and problems and things.
How long have you been in it? In this space, just in general.
Since 1988.
See, okay, right off the bat, right? You've seen a lot of changes. You've seen it how your thinking back in '88 was completely different than your thinking here in 2025.
One of the things I was talking about, so we had prepare, predict, prevail, and I was talking the predict, and I gave a little bit of a history about kind of where it began. I started it before 1990, and then from the 1990 to 2020, and then kind of like this huge data explosion that we had recently.
Yeah.
And from 1990, I talked about how, it was skilled. We were doing this before there was data collectors, and so the skills that was necessary. But I was still talking about it with the technology. When you're still grabbing data. Yeah. But after me was the guys from SKF, who also have been doing this forever. And he mocked me on stage about, well, actually, we did this, with the screwdriver to the ear before that, which, yes, I've done that as well, right? So, but, no outputs really from the human and the screwdriver. But there's, I think I said, the day after the wheel was invented, vibration analysis had to be.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. So at this event, let me just back up. Give us a little background on who you are and what you're doing at Fluke.
Yeah, I'm the product manager for the software and services solution. So there's 3 pillars of Fluke Reliability, Proof Technic, Azima DLI, and then eMate. And so my role is the product manager of the Azima DLI solution. So Azima has been around since 1966. We had big, huge Navy contracts, which just got us started in how to build an automated diagnostic system. The intention was deliver the data to an analyst. The Navy, where we did this, like we talked about this last year about the aircraft carriers. You need to have a system that was simple enough to use by technicians and operators. We talked about this again this week as well. The skills gap, the resource constraints. How do you leverage the best talent that you have on hand? How do you move it forward? And the like. So, my background has been nuclear engineering, followed by just running vibration analysis, managing contracts.
And Azima has a gazillion years of data in a data lake, and it's just, it's about 11 billion terabytes.
100 trillion data points.
It's a lot. All right, you were speaking at this event, and you were up on the stage a number of times. Take us through some of the topics that you were talking about.
I think the theme for this event was prepare, predict, and prevail. We've really kind of come around a long way since we we were brought into the company. Zima's only been in for a year and a half now.
Isn't that amazing? It seems like it's been...
The amount of work that I'm really, congratulations to the teams, the engineering teams, and all what they built. And it resonated so well through the reliability lab that's back here. The prepare side, is really kind of identifying the, what's needed. How do you set up the identification of what it is that you're going to do in the plant? How well you are understanding about the machinery and how you put a plan together. We also talked a bit about the alignment systems. We did a huge alignment refresh of the technology.
Did you really?
Yeah. Jeez. So that came out. There was a little talk about that as well. Predict is that how and when. So we've answered the what we need to do. Now it's the how and when. We grab a lot of data. And so it's about making insights out of that data. How do we create actionable understanding about what needs to be done to keep your plant risk-free in a priority order? So the things that you don't need to look at the data on, machines that are healthy, why waste time having an analyst look at that? How do we prioritize our limited skilled resources that we have in a plant?
Yeah, but doesn't that take into consideration the criticality rating of these assets too?
Yeah, we did talk about that in this event as well. So criticality, we talked a bit about the criticality assessment and what the importance is of that. It steers your course of how you get into the program, identify what's most important to solve. It doesn't really change a lot on how you analyze data. But it does.
No, you're right about that.
But it does change how you approach how you would analyze the data. Right? You're not going to put a traffic light sensor on a machine that's the most critical machine in the plant.
Yeah.
But you would certainly on the machines that are conveyors or redundant or your small machines that you're not going to repair. You're just going to want to know if it's at a risk.
Yeah.
And the like. And the last leg of it was Prevail. So the where and the why. How do we find that solution and get it a work order execution? One of the things that we were talking about here that milestones that we've made over the last year is the automation. So we have data that comes in automatically, sensors all over the machines, automatic data capture. So removing kind of the human expensive element of going around and walking around collecting data. We can now do that for the majority of machines. Automate the analysis, getting insights out of it, automating how we get repair action with a priority, plain language, what do we need to do. And now we have the automation of building a work order. So everything is automated. The automation of the work order is a huge talking point that we had here, resonated really well, especially with the eMate crowd. Right? So I have daily activities that I need to do. And from the time that if you thought about months ago, years ago, when we'd capture data like once a month, you can manage that pretty well. But now that we have a stream of data coming at us every day, diagnostic comes out, and if you have a work order that already exists, how do I manage that every day with new data? So if a work order exists, I want to be able to understand is something new, something's changed, if there's machine fault is now worse, or now I have another fault. So that's the automation of the work order. That's going to help the eMate customer. This
is sort of in the weeds a little bit. Typical companies that I've worked with in the past, not very mature when it comes to these work orders. So there was a big push to create work orders.
Sure.
But then there's this backlog of work orders.
Yeah.
And you don't get through them because there's no way of what's a priority, what's not a priority. It becomes
noise.
It's just, along with all the other stuff that you're dealing with, right?
Yeah. So
how does this automation of being able to create a work order eliminate or prevent that? Or how do you prevent it from becoming noise? Another work order, another thing. It just tells us we're falling apart.
Yeah. Well, now right? So if you don't capture anything, you don't have any faults in the machine in your plant, right? So you now what you have up against you. But you're right. We are in this world where you have to create a ticket for everything, and then how do you manage that?
Yeah.
So you just put more people on managing it. That's not a sustainable solution.
It's not.
No.
Yeah.
So
we've all been there.
The whole goal here is to be able to help plants keep organized. How do we identify, this is the thing that you really need to do. This is the most important thing. And bring all that data together to be able to prove that out.
Can you do that? Can you create that work order creation workflow to where it does have a tendency to say, okay, I have my work orders here. Mm-hmm. This is my work for today. But then a work order comes in and it has a higher priority. And it sort of trumps the other work orders or whatever. There's a way of being able to do that, right?
Well, yeah, eMate is super powerful in that regard.
Yeah.
It's the knowing that something else comes in. So it's that daily management. What we're really kind of building currently is that ability to be able to take the diagnostic system out of one automated program and being able to do something with that in another program.
Yeah.
So it'll certainly help customers keep organized and knowing what to do and when to do it. And if you do it right, it's about having the right dashboards to be able to present that kind of information.
Yeah, that was a big gap in the work order create. All they did was just see just a gazillion work orders.
Yeah, here's another piece of paper.
There's another piece of paper.
Look how busy I am.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, that's good. I'm glad that that's the case.
It's about though, just to kind of close that up.
Yeah.
Is I thought it was a really great presentation about justification. How do you justify the ROI
Yes.
of what you do?
Yes.
So being able to have that data that you have, you don't necessarily prove it by how many work orders you have, how many fires you're trying to put out, but you can close the loop on it, that I did solve a problem and I can say there's a metric on there, something that would resonate up at the executive level. So taking that maintenance, the activities, off the plant floor and then making it in a way that can resonate upward. If you're doing a case study or the like, there's certainly work that needs to be done there, but what we're trying to do is make that present that in a way that can be done really quickly, simply, and visually.
So, you mentioned Prevail.
Yeah.
To me, Prevail is has a time component to it, right? I'm going to sustain, I'm going to prevail, I'm going to continue to push forward, I'm going to, and many of the individuals within the, asset management, reliability space, maintenance space, have a hard time sustaining that culture, that reliability culture. It sort of ebbs and flows. But to Prevail, it to me is a more optimistic view of it working. Because as well as I do, we've been having this conversation at various degrees. It's the same stuff sometimes. You've been to it in 1988. So how do we sustain and prevail?
How do we prevail? There's a need to be able to communicate well.
Yes.
In this, and
it's huge.
Communication is going to be the huge problem that we're going to have. Especially when we think about the retiring workforce that's leaving, that could answer that question because they've done that forever.
Yeah.
I know I can prevail because I've done this.
Right.
I can keep. You remember like in old military movies on the submarines, they would have the one non-Navy person who managed the diesels, right?
Right?
He could just wake up in the morning and he smells the air and is like, I need to grease that bearing.
Right.
Yeah, he didn't worry about prevailing. He just did it.
Yeah.
Well, now we have new generation coming in. So we have a huge retiring workforce that's coming.
Yeah.
A couple million.
It's been coming.
Yeah, we've known it's been coming for 5 years, but we just keep ignoring it.
Yeah, I know.
Maybe we'll fix it.
Hopefully somebody will have the silver bullet to be able to sort of deal with it.
There was some metrics up on screen, 1.9 million U.S. jobs lost to retirement by 2033.
So there's 1.9 million consultants coming in.
20% of manufacturing jobs lost in the UK, like next year.
No way.
To retirement, something like that.
Ouch.
20%. There's new, talent that's going to come.
Yeah.
Gen Z will arrive.
They are.
What is it? The millennials?
I have no clue. The math is too hard for me.
You have to. So they will have to learn how to prevail, because they will be coming into roles that are going to be with a huge generational gap between the two. And so I think that's what we have to think about, is how do we build technology that allows them to understand how to answer that question. How do you
see? Now you bring up a good point. This was an aha moment, and everybody talks about, and specifically around, how do we backfill? What do we do? Do we upskill people? Whatever the strategies and the words that are coming out of at that time. The reality is that I think that if you do not invest in the innovation and in the technology and the latest and greatest, sure, you're not going to attract anybody that has any ability to be able to sustain you.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, I just think it's critical, whether you fight it or not. I think you just need to do it.
Oh, absolutely. You can't not. It's going to come whether you like it or not.
That's exactly right.
So the AI is here. How do you embrace it?
Yeah. That's exactly correct.
I think what's important there is that the new generation of workers are the ones that have been born with technology in their hand.
Yep.
So you have to cater to that group.
And they think that way.
They will tell you that way very directly.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's not a bad thing, but there was a lot of conversations I'd had about this over lunches and coffees and beers. There's a wall between those two generations. There's a pain point that the workers have gone, like I've said, this SKF guy that came on mocking me in a nice way. I really appreciated it. 37 years in a plant and using a screwdriver. But he had a lot of, and I have had a lot of pain points that we've learned from. Well, the new generation doesn't have that. I think they're more. We had Nolan here, who is talking on behalf of the new generation coming in, and they don't have the same level of understanding. They don't have this mindset of working in the same plant for years and years and years and growing and learning from it.
Yeah.
They'll have to trust the older generation to teach them. When I got into this, I had that luxury of the older generation at that time would take you as a protege. They would teach you. They had the time.
Oh, yeah.
And they were encouraged to do so.
Yeah.
Hey, look, I've been doing this for 30 years. Let me show you how I do it, with a lot of pride. Think about how stretched thin your workers are in the plant today. They don't have the time,
no, they don't.
The luxury to be able to say, come here, youngin.
Come here, old.
Let me.
Yes, take you under my wing, and then
there was a kind of a same aha moment about the question of why. Everything came to the why. Why?
Yeah.
Why do you do it this way?
Right.
Why do I need to do it this way? Why can't we do it a different way? And there's a disconnect between the retiring workforce and the new workforce.
Yeah.
And there's a fear of the AI displacing the retiring workforce earlier than they want to retire. So I want to hold on to my knowledge. I don't want to give that up.
Yeah.
But the newer generation that comes in, as I said, has this need to have more technology, more capabilities. So I think the responsibility is back onto the manufacturing plant just to embrace that. How can I build smart manufacturing in a way that allows you to trust the data that you have, understand the reason why we do things to begin with, in a technological way that the new generation would say, hey, I love this.
I think we're missing out. And I think, to your point, I think you brought it up, we do a horrible job at communicating. We just do.
Yes.
We need to do a better job at communicating and being able to communicate that bright future that leverages technology for the betterment of the business and the community and whatever it might be. And I think we need to do that.
I think that's where Industrial 5.0 really comes back into play.
Yeah.
Where we bring the humans back into it. 4.0 was all about digitalization. Now we have this data. Now we're kind of figuring out what to do all with this data. But now
that's a good point.
5.0 now brings in the humans to say, great, now how do we use this in a way that bridges that generational gap?
Yeah, that's a whole nother conversation, because I can't believe we're talking about Industry 5.0, but we are, because we've recognized the necessity for all of us to get together as humans to be able to sort of take it to the next level.
Let's do it.
Michael, how do they get a hold of you?
FlukeReliability.com. That's where I'm at.
Well, are you out on LinkedIn?
I am certainly on LinkedIn. Somewhere on LinkedIn.
Okay. We're going to have that contact.
Yeah, you'll get it.
Yeah. All right, listeners, we're going to have all the contact information for Michael out on Industrial Talk, so fear not, reach out to him. His fingers on the pulse of what's taking place in the future. Future. I like that. All right, once again, we're broadcasting from Xcelerate 2025. They're rolling up the carpets right in front of us as we speak. All right, you got to put this on your calendar. It's brought to you by Fluke Reliability. Go out to Fluke Reliability, find out more. All right, we're going to wrap it up on the other side. Stay tuned. We will be right back.
You're listening to the Industrial Talk Podcast Network.
Well, now we're talking prepare, predict, prevail, all delivered on this silver platter by Michael DeMaria. Fluke Reliability. That was Xcelerate 2025. Yeah, they're doing it. This, again, is an organization, a team, a technology that you need to be a part of. Connect with them. Make them a part of your team. It's a must. And I'm telling you, this event, talk about passion and energy and a desire to truly help you succeed. It's all there. Look for Xcelerate 2026. It's there. You got to put it on your calendar. Make it happen. All right. Industrial Talk is here for you. You know some of my soapbox. I want to be able to inspire next generation of leaders. We need to be more efficient. We need to do a lot more. And you need to tell your story each and every day. Go out to Industrial Talk, connect with me, and we will change the world. We're going to have another great conversation shortly, so stay tuned.